Welcome to Shooby Dooby Doo Up, a podcast where we talk about pop music. We're living on a prayer and halfway there through our deep dive of the UK Top 10 Singles Chart for the 9th of August 1962. I mean, we're going to look at the top 5. It's only fair to look at numbers.
Who are you?
I'm Andy Robinson still. Who are you?
I'm James Cook.
Oh, that's right. I remember you from somewhere. Well, we're already, like I say, we should maybe have a little recount, James, of this week's, if that's who you are, of this week's numbers 10 to 6, down 2 to number 10. It's Little Miss Lonely by Helen Shapiro.
She was just 17, as her mates the Beatles once sang, but Helen Shapiro performs this beautifully.
Down 3 to 9, it's a former number 1, Come Outside by Mike Sarn with Wendy Richard.
A needy bloke bothers a sassy woman with hilarious consequences.
True of life in general, up 8 to number 8, it's Things by Bobby Darin.
Vague title, tragic life story, but a great song.
Up 21 to number 7, it's Guitar Tango by The Shadows.
Twangy Tarantino vibes from the Mostly Bryans.
Up 1 to number 6, it's Here Comes That Feeling by Brenda Lee.
And that feeling is, what a great record.
It is a great feeling from listening to that song. All the songs featured can be found on both our Spotify and our YouTube playlists. Links are in the description, as per. And if you join our Patreon community, you can get access to our bonus tracks, half a dozen songs that are in the chart, but inexplicably never made the top. I suppose it's explicable in a way because not enough people bought them. Here's a taste of what you can expect in that.
You two must be out of your tiny mind.
That's right.
That's how you get kids to do what you want.
Chili con carne. In 62, this might have been an exotic dish. I see it as what you get dumped on a baked potato in some food mall in a... So...
It's the French version, so they've gone into sort of more existential angst and ennui.
Of course.
The
Good idea.
Translation done by Jean-Paul Sartre.
To be honest, that was quite homoerotic, that one. By Oh my God, let's go.
There's going to be so much fan fiction about this. Join our community now at patreon.com/ShoobyPodcast.
Number 5.
A non-mover at number 5, Don't Ever Change by the Crickets. Who wrote this song?
Goffin and King.
That's right. It was intended for the Everly Brothers.
Sounds like an Everly Brothers song.
Everly Brothers said, no, don't want it. So
Crazy Everly Brothers. I mean, I've known this song a long time. I love this song.
Goffin and King's third top 5 single in the UK after Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow and Take Good Care of My Baby.
Yeah.
They have had 2 UK number 1s as a songwriting duo. Do you know what they are?
Pre-1962?
No, ever.
What, Goffin and King have only had 2 number 1s?
In the UK.
Would it be a Drifter song that they did?
One was in 1964 by a British act who were massive in America.
Oh, the Dave Clark 5?
No.
Go on.
Herman's Hermits.
I'm Into Something Good.
I'm Into Something Good.
Yeah, I love that song.
And the other one was a version of one of their songs that got to number 1 in 1995.
Yeah, go on.
Up on the Roof.
By Bruce Willis? No?
By Robson and Jerome. Those are the 2 UK number 1s that Goffin and King as a songwriting duo.
Interesting. I mean, recently I went through a deep dive of Goffin and King songs, adding them all to a Goffin and King playlist, because I thought they've wrote so many great hits, haven't they? Despite only 2 number 1s in these charts. Silly British public. No, that's a silly thing to say. And the songs you don't know are brilliant by them. You know, they're incredible songwriters. Of course, that's an original thought.
One of the originators of what we know as pop music. Yes.
I mean, this is one of the songs that the Beatles covered for... I don't know, maybe on the BBC. I don't know what
it was. It was, in fact, it was the first song performed by the Beatles on the BBC with the Beatles lineup that we all know and love.
So they were doing it. So I'm going to say Beatles with their interest. There must be something going on in this song for it to prick their ears a little bit.
There's a lot in this song I like. I like the chorus has a kind of sadness to it.
Yep.
The Don't You Ever Change. And it's got the, in my head, I call the Dancing Queen piano.
Okay.
Didin.
Yeah, right.
That in it.
Yeah.
Which I really like. I think that adds a sort of level of grandness to the chorus.
And as you say, the harmonies are beautiful. They're absolutely reminding you of the Everly Brothers. I mean, I'm going to do it again a little bit, James. Let me get this box of nonsense. Because this is good, isn't it? In the intro, for instance, you've got this kind of... Imagine this, right? You've got this... What does that remind you of?
Da 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 da.
Quite. So it's got that thing, but the chords underneath it, they're going kind of. So you just keep a E underneath it, but that's beautiful, isn't it? You never wear a stitch. So that's great.
Ba-da, ba-da, banana.
And then these chord changes, that's an E, never a stitch of lace. C sharp minor, you'd expect that down your face. A, then A, always wearing G, they stay there, except on sun, then go down the semitone. D, beautiful. So please, and that's good. The middle 8 again, if we take different notes. That's in A now, but you know that James Bond thing. The sadness you mentioned. So on the chorus, they chuck in a weird chord. I think they're going so please don't ever change. And lovely C augmented. Don't you ever. That's beautiful, isn't it? And then at the end, they're kind of going again that, but they're putting chords behind it, singing please. I mean, there's so much trickery that you would not expect in a song.
Like a lot of men my age,
Yeah.
I love the Bond theme.
Yeah.
And this is 1962, this is when Dr. No comes out. And I didn't realise that this song was basically, it's the Bond theme, isn't it?
Not really. But
It's got that element to it. And maybe that's what it is that's speaking to me.
As a Bond fan.
Seriously, I think the James Bond theme should be the national anthem.
Yeah, okay. Shout out to Vic Flick, the guitarist who played the James Bond theme on his guitar, who died last week. So give a little shout out to him at time of recording.
So this version by the Crickets, who picked it up when the Everly Brothers didn't want it. The Crickets, including Sonny Curtis, who wrote the song "I Fought the Law" and the theme tune to the Mary Tyler Moore Show, which in 1975 featured as the character Aunt Helen, Carole King.
Really?
It all comes round again. All connected. Also in the Crickets, Jerry Allison. What's his wife's name?
Alison, I'm guessing.
No.
Alison.
Come on, it's the Crickets.
Buddy?
No, he's not married to...
Peggy? Peggy Sue.
Peggy Sue. Yes, that's right.
Around.
That song's named after her. Originally, that song was called... Do you know this?
No, go on.
It was called Cindy Lou.
Okay.
After Buddy Holly's niece.
Cool.
The Crickets played their last ever concert in 2016 at the Surf Ballroom in Clear Lake, Iowa. Why did they play it there?
Don't know.
Because that was where Buddy Holly played his last ever gig.
Oh, cool.
All those years later. So what was that? Nearly 70 years later?
86 I played the last gig.
2016. They go back as an homage and play their final gig there.
Love the Crickets. Love their association with Buddy Holly, of course. I mean, it still goes on YouTube, though, James. A bit like the... I love the words. You never wear a stitch of lace. What is it? The powder's never on your face. You're always wearing jeans except on Sunday. Don't ever check.
Those 3 lines describe me.
Quite.
Never wear a stitch of lace. I don't. I never put powder on my face. True.
Yeah.
I'm always wearing jeans. Yes. I'm going, they're singing to me. What? And then he goes, except on Sunday. And I go, I still wear jeans on Sunday. It's not me. Calm down, everyone.
Second verse. You don't know the latest dance. Do you know the latest dance? I'm going to say no.
Not a clue. My kids are always doing something on TikTok. I have no idea what they're doing.
You don't, but when it's time to make romance, your kisses let me know you're not a tomboy. That's not you, is it, James?
Am I a tomboy?
Not really.
I don't think I am.
YouTube again, with the talk about come outside, let's call it people getting angry at changing politics. Someone called Vayhan is a Nian. He says there's an outdated reference for 48 seconds. He goes, nowadays there are far more tomboys than in 1961. That's a weird little thing to pick up on this record, isn't it?
Yep, citation needed. I don't know how you're measuring that, mate.
In essence, I've known this song all my life. My dad used to love this song. I think I just love it anyway.
Number 4.
Down 1 to number 4. It's A Picture of You by Joe Brown. And his brothers, I don't think they're credited on this record.
They're not, but this is written by 2 of the brothers, John Beveridge and Peter Oakman.
Bruveers, if you want to Google them.
Yes, because, of course, Joe Brown is from...
The universe of great music. Where's he from?
You're not falling for my little heffalump traps, are you?
No.
I want you to say London, but he was...
Where's he from?
Was actually born in Lincolnshire.
Oh, cool.
However, he did move to London when he was 2. But he
You sell out.
He has that sort of chirpy Cockney
For sure.
character, isn't he?
He identifies with his Cockney character. I saw Joe Brown, I was going to say 12 years ago. Took my mum to see him at a little gig. He knocked me out brilliant. brilliant, Joe Brown. He is underrated.
All-round entertainer, isn't he? My memory of Joe Brown is that he was always on telly when I was growing up in the 80s. He was always like a panelist on things or a guest on TV shows. And not on kids shows as well. He'd go on anything. He was like an all-round entertainer guy, wasn't he?
I get you, but this is what sort of surprised me at the gig I went to see at the Robin 2 beautiful venue in Bilston. Check that out if you ever passing that way. But also, he's a rock and roller as well. He's not, when he did that gig, he was entertaining, but he knows what he's doing, put it that way. He played guitar on The Sound of Fury, Billy Fury's 1958 album, I think, and that's sort of known and regarded as authentic British rock and roll, the first. So he's about, doing it, being great.
This only gets to number 2 in the official charts. But of course, one thing we haven't really addressed on this podcast is in those early days, there were lots of different charts.
Yes.
Like all the different music magazines basically had their own one. So in the NME charts, this gets to number 1. But that doesn't count in the official charts that we use.
Who's that coming over the hill? Well, it's the Beatles. I mean, their second single, Please Please Me, that gets kind of debated whether it ever got to number 1, really, because of this chart thing. So, yeah, that complicates things slightly.
Yeah, not in the official charts, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Which is, you kind of have to use one, otherwise.
What about the chart of our hearts?
The charts of our hearts. Yeah. What about it? Technically, as well, this song's the B-side.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why?
The A-side was a song called A Layabout's Lament. But this was the song that everyone liked and played because it's so much better. A Layabout's Lament is all about going down the job club and there are too many men there and I don't want to have to get a job because I'm lazy.
Sounds pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah, it's not a picture of you, though.
No. Which, again, is a little classic in it. I've already mentioned the Beatles covered it.
Have you?
Do you know the Beatles covered this as well on some creaky old recording I've heard, either at Hamburg or I think it's the BBC.
Is that the
tape.
BBC in June 1962?
Yes. What do you make of it lyrically? I think it's a little precursor to songs like James Blunt, You're Beautiful. James Brown doesn't know the woman that he's singing to. In
Joe Brown.
This song was recorded by James Brown. Please email us in at shubipodcast@gmail if you know different. What I like about it, James, I've heard it in the past. I thought, that's a beautiful song about someone owning a picture, a little bit like the Ringo Starr song Photograph, as I've alluded to. It's got that James Blunt, You're Beautiful thing of he's just seeing this woman out and about.
Is it an actual picture or is it a picture in his mind?
I believe it to be an actual picture because he sort of leaves this towards the end, right? Towards the end of the song. He doesn't know her name. He only has a picture of you. So maybe it's in his mind, but I believe it to be a picture because the bridge, right? Joe Brown says, it was last summer I fell in love. My heart told me what to do. Then he saw you there on the crest of a hill and I took a little picture of you. So I am suggesting, Joe Brown, this is a song about upskirting.
Must you?
I can't help it and I think it's funny.
Unbelievable.
But again, it's a song of obsession, isn't it? YouTube, Natalie Wally says, this reminds me of my dad when he was getting ready to go out. Brill cream, Old Spice and polished loafers, and my mum with a face like thunder sitting on the rug knitting. He used to forget to put his wedding ring back on and leave it on the sink.
Lyrically, it reminds me of the monologue in Citizen Kane, done by old Mr. Bernstein.
Nice.
You didn't see this coming, did you?
No.
I'm quite
I thought it
highbrow.
was all about him getting underneath a woman's skirt and taking a cheeky little Polaroid.
So much of this is getting cut out.
It's all right. I'm only having a laugh.
The character played by Everett Sloane, when he's an old man and he's talking to the journalist, and right at the end, he tells that story about being on the ferry one day and he sees a woman and he says, I probably only saw her for 2 or 3 seconds, but there's not a day that goes by when I've not thought of her. And it's got nothing to do with the plot, but it is one of the most affecting moments in the film. It's like the heart of the film because it was all about the memories of moments like that you picked up on, no one else saw.
Will you be cutting that out as well? Because that's not as funny as upskirting. I'm only being silly. This is good. Colour Polish back in the 60s says, I used to sing this song with the Cougars Saturday night at the Duck Pond. And he says, it got the girls screaming for more. Then weirdly, further down, someone called Sharpie1308 says, in that case, I'll see you in Dreamland. Internet being nasty to each other. Again, Joe Brown played with Gene Vincent and Eddie Cochran, so he knows all these rock and rollers. He's a real deal, I'm claiming. You would expect it to go... In the night there are stars to be seen. That kind of A and D. You'd expect it to do that because it's got a little bit of a, let's call it progressive thinking. It goes down to the G, so it goes, in the night when I turn to be seen. So that second chord, this one, it's weird. Again, you hear it all the time now, but that sort of drop down a tone from the key. That's in loads of rock records, but there weren't many records pre-1962 where it did that, so that's a good bit of songwriting from a brother.
I really like the instrumental bit in the middle where,
Ding, 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 ding,
where it has
ding,
that sort of the Bo Diddley riff that you mentioned the other week.
Something like...
Jing, jing, jing. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, they do one at the end, which I love. So he's going, I've only got a picture of you, that type of thing. But then the one they go, I've only got a picture of you. I've only got... That's a little bit of a, hey, Mickey, you're so fine drum beat or whatever. Beautiful.
Who was the best man at his second wedding in 2000?
Joe Brown. I'm going to say, if they're lurking about, was it George Harrison?
It was.
I didn't know that, but I can see the way the wind's blowing on this one. Have you ever seen the film Concert for George?
No, but I'm aware that Joe Brown does some songs in it, doesn't
So
he?
you've got Paul McCartney on this. You have got Jeff Lynne. You've got Tom Petty. You've got all these greats doing the George Harrison songs. Joe Brown comes on and does a little ukulele version of the old song, I'll See You in My Dreams. It kind of steals the show on it for some reason. You think, you know, after you've seen Mac and Ringo play While My Guitar Gently Weeps, you think, what's Joe Brown doing at the end of this? Why is he come on? And yet, whoever put that show together knew what they were doing. It's beautiful. He sings a lovely little lament, which George Harrison used to love that song, apparently. It's on the ukulele. George Harrison used to love it. Loads of confetti comes falling from the ceiling when it's happening. It made me cry when I watched it, and I'll put it on now and again, to be honest with you, and have a little... get in touch with some sort of emotion. It's such a... I mean, that's a different song, but it's never in the top 10. So as we like to say, we talk about it now. I'll See You in My Dreams. Check that out. Beautiful old ballad.
Number 3.
Down 1 to number 3. I Can't Stop Loving You by Ray Charles, a former number 1.
Let's just say, yeah.
When this starts and the choir come in,
Yeah.
and they are so loud,
Yeah.
and they are so high-pitched,
Yeah.
it's a little bit funny, isn't it?
Well, again, I have known this record for years. There's a sort of... Among some Ray Charles fans, like his country and western, his album he did at least, Modern Sounds in Country and Western, I think it was called. Now, Ray Charles fans, even... they sort of sometimes disown these records. They're going, it's full of orchestra and beautiful harmonies and backing singers. And I think, and your point being what? 'Cause it sounds great to me. Did the backing choir put you off a bit?
The third or fourth time I listened to it, I just started giggling because it's so overblown and it's so straight away. It doesn't build to anything. It comes in, it starts with a crescendo and it builds from there.
It doesn't start with a crescendo. What it starts with is a simple I can't stop love. So it starts with almost the mildest intro you can ever have.
But it's done by a choir who are absolutely belting it.
They are belting it out.
I mean, what makes me laugh.
As I alluded to in introduction, at one point he says, "Sing the song, children," which is one of my favourite moments on that record. But I think the let's call it the choir on this. They're almost like it's almost like a duet, isn't it? Ray Charles is stepping back. Sometimes they are singing the actual song of I can't stop loving you, and you hear him doing whatever in between. So it's a call and response song, weirdly, if you don't like the sound of a big choir.
Basically, Ray Charles and a choir are having a torrid affair.
Yep, and it sounds that way.
You take country music and you take black music, it's exactly the same thing. Who said that?
I would guess Ray Charles.
He did.
Well, it is, isn't it? I mean, again, this is a thing of mine. Like these songs, this is partly why I play guitar clumsily. I am not saying that's all it is or this is what it is, but the building blocks to all these songs are the same. All melodies and chords underneath them. So, do a little bit of squinting if you don't like this sound. And imagine him doing it in more authentic, in big inverted commas, style.
It was wildly successful, though, the album this is from that you mentioned, selling about 700,000 copies in the first month it was released.
A brilliant album.
Yeah, and this song gets to number one in the UK, as I mentioned, and in the United States. Written by...
I didn't look it up because I knew you would not quite like quiz. Is it Don Gibson?
It is Don Gibson.
He did the original, didn't he?
Yeah, in 1957.
Yeah.
His nickname, The Sad Poet. Not a great nickname, is it?
It depends what you're after.
When you're putting together the Stag Do WhatsApp.
Are we going to have the Sad Poet along? We're going paintballing. I don't think he'll like it. I mean, loads of people have done this song. Elvis has done it. That's a kicking version. Frank Sinatra, Jim Reeves covered it. Engelbert Humperdinck, Tom Jones, Roy Orbison, Connie Francis, Jedward, Kitty Wells. I mean,
Jedward?
I just chucked one in to see if you were listening, to be honest.
Brian Adams has done it as well.
Yeah. Do you know Brian Adams done it with?
Who?
They did... oh, no, that's wrong. That's a different...
Was it Jedward?
Story. It was Jedward.
Yeah, apparently over 700 artists have recorded versions of this song.
Yeah.
One of the most covered songs of all time.
It's a great song.
At first, though, this wasn't going to be a single. But loads of DJs in America started playing it, and it started getting popular. And then a singer called Tab Hunter.
Oh, I know Tab Hunter, who's in Damn Yankees.
Yep.
Yeah.
He recorded his own version of this arrangement. Ray Charles is apparently infuriated that this has happened. So the record company edit down the album track because the album track, get this, is 4 minutes long. That's far too long to be a single.
Prog rock in 1962.
Do you hear that, modern pop stars? 4 minutes is far too long. And they released the single version, and they put it out with loads of publicity, including a full-page ad in Billboard.
Because Ray Charles was so outraged that Tab Hunter had ripped him off a bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
you can believe it. It certainly happened with the idea of playing the white artist rather than the black artist. That is a thing that happened now and again. But, Ray Charles is in the top 10, so obviously it didn't matter that much in the UK. Good old us, eh?
Yeah. What has this song got in common with the Flintstones?
I sort of hate it and love it when you do this. Go on.
Specifically the theme to the Flintstones.
Don't know.
Well, you know the choir on this song.
No way. Don't do it. Say it ain't so, Joe.
Yep, the Randy Van Horn Singers, which is what they're actually called. They sing the Flintstones theme tune and the Jetsons theme tune and loads of stuff for Hanna-Barbera.
Well, they would say that, wouldn't they? Yeah, all right. That's
Has that hurt you?
Well, it has a little bit. Because when I'm arguing with people now about Ray Charles and the authenticity of his country music, I'm going to have to say, they sang the Flintstones. Mind you, Flintstones is a great song, isn't it?
Is that country song, the Flintstones?
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. It's a modern scenic family. Could be.
Number 2.
Up one to number 2. It is Pat Boone with Speedy Gonzales. Now, we've talked a little bit about what's appropriate in this day and age. Let's dig into this record.
Yep, it's time to count the stereotypes.
Oh, man, on YouTube, there's loads of people saying, I'm Mexican, I love this song, shut up. So there's that.
There is certainly that about it. So, Speedy Gonzales, the cartoon mouse, with whom this song is inextricably linked, first appeared in 1953. In 1955, the short Speedy Gonzales won an Academy Award. So it was Oscar winning.
Yeah.
In 1999, Cartoon Network said they're not going to show Speedy Gonzales cartoons anymore because of cultural sensitivity.
Yeah.
However, lots of prominent voices in the Latinx community who were pro Speedy Gonzales put together a campaign, and lo and behold, the cartoons were reinstated.
Yeah,
it turns out quite a lot of people in the community that this is allegedly insensitive to were like, no, he's a hero.
Yeah. So we have pushed aside, let's say, some people take this as racist record. I mean, British people, as you know, James, I spent quite a lot of time in America. British people have got a strain. It wasn't long ago on packets of tortillas we were putting a Mexican sleeping under a cactus with a hammock on. I mean, you wouldn't get away with that in the States. We've luckily changed, haven't we? It's because British people don't know any Mexicans, so we feel we can say what we like about them. It doesn't matter, though. I'm not saying this record is anything except an absolute joy and a beauty.
It's a cover version.
So I saw in the YouTube comments, who was it?
It was originally released by David Dante, whose real name is David Hess. He's quite an interesting character. He's one of the songwriters of the song. There are 3 writers credited.
Oh, really?
There's Ethel Lee, Buddy Kay, who also co-wrote the songs "A You're Adorable" and the Elvis song "Change of Habit." Of course you do.
Yeah.
He wrote that.
Great.
And then there's this guy David Hess, who releases this song under the name David Dante, but under the name David Hill, he records the original version of "All Shook Up." He also wrote the song "I Got Stung" by Elvis Presley.
Holy smoke and let shakes alive! I never thought this would happen to me.
And in the 70s, in a massive left turn, this guy, David Hess, now called David Hill, would compose the music for the horror movie The Last House on the Left and also play the main villain.
Cool.
So that's the writing team behind this song.
Let's talk about the writing team a little bit. I mean, it's got the intro, hasn't it? Whatever he does a long time ago in the... whatever it is. But the
Adobe Hacienda.
That's the one, yeah. Which is... Do you know what Adobe Hacienda is?
It's a house made out of mud, isn't it? An Adobe.
That's right. I mean, the beginning of la, 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 la.
Hey, I remember when rock was young.
It's so similar to Crocodile Rock.
It's so similar, in fact, that Elton John had to settle out of court with the songwriters.
Really? Because I read a story on YouTube or somewhere about that Pat Boone and Elton John met, and Elton John said to him, "I'm surprised you didn't sue me for, Speedy Gonzales and Crocodile Rock." And Pat Boone said, "How can I sue somebody for singing La La La?" Is that not true?
Pat Boone's not the songwriter.
Oh, okay.
So it's nothing to do with him.
Do you know who provides the voice of Speedy Gonzales in this record?
Yep, it's the man of 1,000 voices, Mel Blanc.
Yeah.
So how the song works is Pat Boone singing a song about Speedy Gonzales, who sounds like a right ne'er-do-well. But occasionally, Mel Blanc's voice chips in with a line of dialogue from the cartoon mouse Speedy Gonzales, who I would say, character-wise, bears little resemblance to the Speedy Gonzales that Pat Boone is singing about.
Okay. Pat Boone, of course, often criticised for, let's call it, his anodyne rock and roll records. This is good, from Wristyard West 3384 on YouTube. He says, people are reminiscing about Pat Boone and Elvis, and Pat Boone certainly gave him a run for his money, but today you see him on TV advertising a walk-in bathtub.
Yeah.
Do you know that story about Peter Noon, who when he in Herman's Hermits? So when he was introducing them, I only say this because of Boone and Peter Noon, but when he got introduced in America, some bands, they said, "And here they come, Herman Hermits, with Peter No One." Pat Bowen.
Pat Bowen. Let's call him that from now on.
All right then. Tell me about Pat Bowen.
Recorded over 2,600 tracks in his career, having 6 US and 1 UK number 1. He is in the movie The Greatest Story Ever Told, where he plays an angel. In 1961, he said, "I would rather see my 4 girls shot and die as little girls who have faith in God than leave them to die some years later as godless, faithless, soulless communists."
Okay. So we know what side of the fence he's on, I'm going to say.
Yep. Do you know who loves this song, according to Pat Boone?
Pat Bowen, get it right.
Yeah. Do you know who loves this song, according to Pat Bowen?
God.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
Really?
He's apparently a big fan of this song. That changes things, doesn't it?
It's improved it for me. Just the idea of Benjamin. I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu's a complicated character. I like the notion at the end of the day he goes and puts this on these jukebox.
Mm-hmm. I got information about some of the other people involved in this song.
Yeah, do it. More layers. Tell me more, as they say in Greece.
You mentioned Mel Blanc.
Mel Blanc, I believe he's called, but okay. Get it right.
It's Mel Blanc.
Is it?
Yeah.
Terry Wogan, what did he used to introduce? That show he used to do with a long microphone, what was that?
Blankety Blank.
Blankety Blanc.
Yeah. The year before this, Mel Blanc has a car accident and it left him in a coma. And
I don't feel we've explained who Mel Blanc is. I mean, we know. So.
Mel Blanc is the guy who does all the voices for the Looney Tunes characters.
So many.
All of them, basically. That's all Mel Blanc. He goes into a coma after this car accident in 1961. The doctors revive him by talking to him in character.
How do you mean?
And him responding in the voices of Bugs Bunny and Tweety Pie.
No.
And that's how they get him out of it. Yeah. It's true.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah. What is on Mel Blanc's
What, so they'd say to
headstone?
when he's in a coma,
Yeah.
they would say, for instance, Bugs, do you want some more carrots?
Yeah.
And he'd
And he'd reply in Bugs Bunny voice. Yep. That was the only way I could get through to him.
I love that story.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Yeah. What is written on his headstone?
Mel Blanc.
Yeah.
So I would imagine it's That's All, folks.
It is That's All, folks. Yes.
Woo, woo, woo. Million pop points to me again. 2 million pop points I've accrued this week, James.
The La La Las in the song are sung by Robin Ward, a session singer who estimates she's been heard in maybe 800 films, as well as being one of the actual voices in the Partridge Family.
What do you mean the voices in the part? I thought that was a real life, non-animated show, the Partridge Family.
Yeah, but not all of them were.
Oh,
their
singing,
voices.
you mean? Singing-wise, okay.
Yeah. Are you aware of the Ukrainian football chant version of this song?
No, tell me all about it.
It is called Putin Kulio, which translates as Putin is a dickhead.
Straight and to the point.
Yep. Should you keep enchiladas in the icebox?
Let's dig into the lyrics. I know where you're going with this. Let's have them a little look.
Because there aren't any enchiladas in the icebox, and I thought, well, don't keep them in there.
Now, my memory of Speedy Gonzales was I was more interested in Sylvester the Cat. Was he in that cartoon?
Voiced by
Mel Blanc.
Yeah. He always said that Sylvester was the easiest voice for him to do because he said it's just my voice with a lisp. So if you want to know what Mel Blanc's actual voice was, it's basically Sylvester the Cat.
I wonder how they would have gotten out of a coma in Sylvester the Cat.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that story. I mean,
Good,
if you're in I'm trying to think, if me or you were in a coma, how would people drag us out? We haven't got the ability to do different voices. I mean, maybe they'd say, like, who was number 7 in 1982? You give loads of facts, and I'd just
Here you
talk
go,
about
give me my guitar.
I've got some YouTube comments to sing about.
I mean, I do like the Mexican shopping list.
Go on, what
where
is
he
that?
says, I've got to go to the shop for some tortilla and chili peppers.
I mean, it's simple
That's
as
what
that.
they eat.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
get some chili peppers, they wrap it in tortilla.
And they're running out of Coke.
Presumably Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Have you ever had a Mexican Coca-Cola?
No, I've heard about this.
Yes, I
It's
had
different,
many.
isn't it?
Different type of sugar or something or other.
Okay.
I didn't care that much, but it was nice though.
I don't partake in Coca-Cola anymore.
Because of political beliefs or because you get a little bit dizzy and start running around your house having a fit?
It makes me shit myself.
Sorry, I hate that subject. Let's
You
move
did
on.
ask, didn't you?
I saw some lipstick on your sweatshirt. I smelled some perfume in your ear. I mean, some perfume in your ear might be useful, bearing in mind if you've had a Coke. Well, if you're going to keep on messing, don't bring your business back here. Great words,
Yeah.
silly words.
He's running off with a floozy named Flo.
Yeah, who's Flo?
That was my nan's name.
I suspect Flo's in it just because it rhymes with Tanneroo Row, but I can never be sure.
The UK's number 1.
It's a non-mover at number 1, the third of 7 weeks for I Remember You by Frank Ifield. Another cover version.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me all about it, but before I do it, I'm also going to say this is another song the Beatles covered on one of the Hamburg or BBC things. I get confused. So again, 4 songs in the top 10. Weird with the Beatles, isn't it? People say they covered rock and roll songs and black groups, but there they are, just covering loads of records, like a modern day chart covers band.
So this was written in 1941.
Really?
It's already 21 years old. For the movie The Fleet's Inn. Music by the film's director, Victor Schertzinger, who died shortly after the film came out. He directed 89 films. And lyrics by Johnny Mercer, co-founder of Capitol Records, 4-time Academy Award winner, lyricist of Moon River, Hooray for Hollywood, That Old Black Magic.
In the Great American Songbook, acknowledged as one of the contributors to that tome.
Do you know who this song is about?
No?
Johnny Mercer wrote the lyrics about Judy Garland,
Oh, really?
who he was in love with.
Ah, cool.
In fact, they had an affair. She was 19 at the time, and she was engaged to the composer David Rose. Garland ended her involvement with Mercer when she got married, but in later years, Garland and Mercer rekindled their affair. Mercer said that the song I Remember You was the most direct expression of his feelings of Judy Garland.
This song, to me, like I said, I knew it. I heard it in context for the first time this week. So hearing it 9 records before it, again, because I'm so loved up by this chart, I got into it. Now, this is interesting, I think. Like, it's a beautiful song, isn't it? It's a cry from the heart of memories again. And in 1964, I think it was around that time anyway, Capitol Records, who owned the Beatles' catalogue, they released an album. It's called The Beatles and Frank, something like that. And it was a collection of some songs by the Beatles and some songs by Frank Ifield. So whatever contracts they had going on, that's a strange little album, I believe.
Was not aware that that was a thing.
Frank Ifield The Beatles wanted to support him on one of his tours. Get this, James. Whoever managed Frank Ifield said they can come and do a gig, but they can only do 10 minutes, and we're going to have a look at them and see if they can come on the tour. So they knocked one of their gigs on the Cavern, apparently, to go and play with Frank Ifield. They did 10 minutes, and they didn't want them. Like an open spot. Beatles didn't. I like that idea, though. So when the comics
This next act, they're just starting out. We're going to give them a go.
Not quite, but like when comics are moaning about having to go and do a gig, they should just recognise my genius. I've got to go and do a gig. From now on, I'm going to think, well, the Beatles did it for Frank Ifield and got rejected.
Frank Ifield, born in
Poverty.
Coventry, so close. But his parents were Australian. Yeah. His dad was over here working for Lotus, and he went back to be raised in Australia. So he's essentially Australian. And he has 4 UK number ones in the space of a year.
Really?
It's absolutely huge at this point. So I'm going, I wonder if he's the first Australian to have a UK number one. So I have a look, and according to the official charts, he's not listed as Australian.
Oh, okay.
But he blatantly is. They say the first Australians to have a number one are the Seekers in 1965.
Maybe he was just trying to get away with a visa thing or something.
Maybe. Do you know other Australians? Do you know which Australians had the most UK number ones?
Would imagine Kylie.
It is Kylie Minogue.
Another million pop points to me. That's 3 I've got this.
Yep, she got 7.
Yeah.
Ifield's got 4. Someone else has got 4.
4 Australian number ones.
Australian who had a UK.
Bee Gees?
No.
They're from Manchester anyway.
Yeah, they're not counted Australian on the official chart list either. And they kind of are, aren't they?
Kind of.
Huh. Jason Donovan have got 4.
Okay.
Peter Andre and Olivia Newton-John have 3 each. Maybe he's not counted as Australian because he twice tried to represent the UK at Eurovision but never got selected, including in 1962 when he's having all these number one hits.
It's got a weird little ending, James, which I won't bother playing now because of my obvious expertise, but it's got a little chord change at the end that kind of reminds me of Please Please Me by the Beatles. It's got a little weird kick and twist at the end that you wouldn't expect. Great bit of songwriting.
Yeah, looking at the lyrics are quite simple. There aren't that many lines in the song.
Almost like a little sonnet or something.
He remembers too a distant bell and stars that fell. Do you remember a distant bell?
Do remember.
Have you ever seen a falling star?
I have, yeah.
I don't think I ever have, you know. I haven't lived. I've got to look up more.
Well, I mean, I know you're being a little bit silly, but absolutely, have a look up. Have a look up in the world, see what's happening, see it coming to get you.
He passed away in 2024. Do you think when his life was through, the angels asked him to recall the thrill of it all?
I mean, there's every chance that isn't that the way he's banged on. I mean, I didn't know Frank Ifield had 4 hits in 4 number one hits. My apologies, in such a short. So he was a force, wasn't he? At least for that year.
Mm.
As a lot of songs here, James. I had a little look on YouTube. Again, there's some lovely old people covering this, and then would you believe the Walrus Was Danny popped up?
Right? Oh yes,
so I thought this is interesting. So I typed in YouTube, The Walrus Was Danny, and then I typed in the title of every song we're doing this week. Guess how many songs in this week's top 10 The Walrus Was Danny covered?
See, if I guess 10, and it's actually 9, I've kind of stolen your thunder.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 2.
What was your first guess?
10.
Absolutely.
It's all of them.
He's done all of them. Even the Shadows on the guitar on his own. So, you know, I'm going to say, weirdly, at the end of this beautiful top 10, thank you, The Walrus Was Danny, for keeping this music alive. Check him out on YouTube. He's a madman.
And check out our playlist for this top 10. Well worth your time. Lots in here. Lots of classic songs.
What's your favourite this week?
Really wrestled with this question.
Yeah, go
I
on.
knew this question was coming.
Well,
and
we've decided for some reason that's why we're going to end each show, isn't it? So, you know.
And I wanted us to do a top 3 each.
Oh, go on. You do a top 3. Do you need a bit of time? Because I'm going to say that definitely the best records was Here Comes That Feeling by Brenda Lee, because I didn't know it. It's delighted me, but they're all great. Possibly not the Shadows, but nonetheless.
I really like Don't Ever Change.
Well, absolutely. I
by
love that song.
the Crickets. And I don't know the Beatles version of it. So
It's very similar. Paul and George sing the duet in Don't Ever Change, Beatles. It's one of the few times Paul and George do a duet together, so it's worth listening to that.
Okay. I really like that one. I do like Here Comes That Feeling. I like Things by Bobby Darin. I like The Picture of You by Joe Brown.
Yeah. I mean,
I think those are all absolute pop classics.
Keep listening to the top 10 we've provided. As James says, there's a YouTube playlist as well.
Yeah. And if you join our little gang on Patreon, you will get access to our bonus tracks where we look at songs from the rest of the chart that never get to be in the top 10. So we wouldn't get a chance to talk about them otherwise, but we feel that they are notable in some way. This week, we are going to be looking at why you should never eat oysters on a first date, Une song de French, a pre-glam rock star, some sexist nonsense, and a plea for more booze.
Thank you, UK Record Buying Public of 1962, for putting all these records in the spotlight for us to talk about all these years later. And until then, shooby-dooby-doo-up.
Bop, bop, shoe up.